Joe and Jeff got the juice, keep the show on fire. Josh brings the news straight from the source with no desire. The judge, our wise advisor, keeps us in line. Fresh from the comic shop, showcase your design. Ask Joe the comic book ninja for insights to explore. The popcorn gets to know you from straight to the core. I guess I'll have to think, cause we make some freaks. So much more to discover, this show's a hit. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. So let's start.
Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Wow.
Anything.
Wow. It sure as heck can. Am I right, Joe?
Right, you are, Ken. Sorry, Jeff.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
I hope someone out there got that reference. The right you are, Ken. If someone got it, put it in the chat. I need to hear who is up to date on their ridiculous television from the early 2000s.
Well, anyways, it has been a great show. Thank you all for joining us, especially for Paul. Really glad you were able to contribute to such a stellar show. One of our best. No, just kidding. We are super busy. Again, the whole Dubai thing, and you were where were you in the world? I can't even remember, Joe.
I was
Colorado.
Well, I was in Dubai, right?
Anyways, as you can see, taking meetings all over the place for the Canon, the #1 live show ever of all time. So we appreciate you all for joining us in the middle of summer. What a summer it has been. Obviously, we're going to talk a little bit about Fantastic Four. We're going to touch upon Superman. We got a lot of stuff in the news going on. San Diego Comic-Con was this week. So that's why we said it is a huge show. This episode 33. And Joe, goodness gracious, I'm an idiot.
Did you forget it?
I forgot to put our featured episode issue of the...
And it's a good one, too.
Well, yeah. So why don't you just talk about it? Maybe I can... Well, no, I don't think I'm going to be able to get it up. But,
I'll talk about it for a second.
Talk about it. Just do the talking, because you're really good with the words. And by the way, Dan De La Torre had a great suggestion. I just created the thumbnail first because... try and get this stuff done earlier in the week. It's starting to weigh on me, the family thing. The stress is starting to break with the responsibility of the Canon. And yeah. Anyway,
I mean, we all know the responsibility of the Canon supersedes any family or workplace commitments. The Canon is #1. Make Canon great again. Canon first.
Because we do a service. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what
Hold
just
on,
happened.
actually. Just keep talking.
I'm trying, but your internet is doing something goofy right now because you're jumping all over the screen. Maybe it's mine. I don't know. Anyway, episode issue number 233. We were going to talk about Daredevil 233. Okay. All right. You're making it work.
Hold on. Wait, we got it. Boom.
We got it.
It's up there. Well, it's loading. What is going on with my internet? This is
it's bad.
It's quite. How about now?
Now it's fine.
All right, here we go.
Are you talking about it or am I?
You are. Go.
Okay, episode.
Yeah, you go.
Issue 233 of Daredevil. This is the final in the Born Again storyline, which is the final Frank Miller Daredevil book. Obviously he did some later, but in the main run, during his heyday, I really love this run. Like, obviously the original Frank Miller Daredevil run is unbeatable. But I specifically like this because I love Dave Mazzucchelli's artwork. He also worked with Miller on Batman Year One, which is one of my favorite short little Batman runs, 4 issues from, I think it's 404, 405, 406, 407, if I'm remembering correctly. But this is Daredevil Born Again. Obviously, this is where the name from the television series came about, although it does not directly relate to this. In fact, some of the stuff in Daredevil Born Again already happened in the Netflix Daredevil show. It also is, I believe this is actually, you have first appearance of Nuke. I believe this is the first cameo appearance of Nuke. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I think it's a full first appearance, but somebody in the comments let us know.
Yeah. Either way, Frank Miller doing what he did best during his, absolute primetime heyday in the, late 70s, early 80s, and great David Mazzucchelli art. We love it.
All right. Not a bad pick at all. Now, The Honorable Dan De La Torre had another suggestion for us. Fantastic Four 233 with amazing John Byrne cover with the Human Torch on there. So you should all check that out. I just didn't have time to switch it up.
Amen.
So that's it. That's the featured episode issue. Holy cow. What is going this show is already disjointed. What is going on? Maybe it's because Naomi's not here tonight. She is sick. I just got out of Fantastic Four, so thoughts are all over the place, everywhere, all over the place. And yeah, so we'll talk about Fantastic Four in this next segment that we do call
Just delivers the news and rumors.
Joshua, we got lots of news tonight, right? We have lots of news.
Dude, I got so much news. Like, I got news running out of my body. It's insane. That didn't come out right.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that one bit.
I didn't like where my head went with that either. Like, I just didn't.
I got so much news that it can't even cover my big beef.
Oh, God. Well,
all right.
So much for that segment. We'll bring Josh back next week after he's had a stern talking to.
We did try. We did try, right? We gave him a chance, and now he's down. We don't have Naomi here. We're just going to have to move on to, I guess, Fresh from the Comic Shop. Just end the show.
Let's just end the show.
I mean, it's already a disaster.
We got to bring Josh back. We have a lot of news to go over.
There is.
I will say, I am going to, like in like the old shows and stuff, you would see someone that would they'd get like a cane and like ring you around the neck and pull you off stage. That is what I will be doing to Josh today because I'm exhausted. I just got back from a trip. I spent all day in a pool hearing Uncle Joe do this, Uncle Joe do that.
Oh, God.
It was a crazy day. I'm exhausted. I have sunburn, which you can't tell because my lights are different colors. Josh, I'm going to bring you back in, but buddy,
yeah,
if you talk too long about these gosh darn news stories, I'm going to be real upset.
Yep. Ditto. We're going to move you over here because this is your segment, and we're just going to do a little bit of this. Let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah, so we've had last Sunday a ton of news drop after we got done canon. And let's start off. It's been confirmed that Spider-Man Brand New Day will be a street-level film. Kevin Feige, my good friend, I grew up with him. We were in NAMM together and a foxhole and everything. He did a huge article and confirmed that Brand New Day will be a street-level film. And he also said that the Punisher's level of violence will be adjusted for the film. So don't expect to see Frank, brutally murdering people or anything like that, but I'm sure we'll see some good action. So I'm happy to hear that it's a street level film. I think we've been wanting that from the get-go when we've seen him in Civil War. All three of his solo films were multiverse / bigger universe type films in my opinion. So yeah, I'm excited for this.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here too. Even if it's going to be a toned down Punisher, I'm very excited about this as well because I was brought into Spider-Man as a street level hero, not as a cosmic savior. So, and I know Joe has brought that up before, not railed against it too much, but we want to see this side of Spider-Man because that's honestly how Spider-Man was first portrayed, and a majority of his comic book life is portrayed that way. Joe.
Yeah, I'm a street level guy just through and through. That's the characters that I like: Daredevil, Batman, Spider-Man when he's street level. That's the stuff I like. I'm very happy we're getting back to this. We've gotten a little bit, bits of street level Spider-Man, obviously, but in his overarching appearances in the MCU, kids going to space and stuff. So fighting giant purple alien. It's not my type of Spider-Man. So I'm happy to see this. I thought that this was going to be the case. It just really makes sense, especially given the events of the last Spider-Man film and, the whole memory erasing thing. He's more of a unknown vigilante at this point. So I'm excited to see this. As far as Punisher, I know people are, questioning yada yada. Punisher's not going to be a feature in this film. He's not going to be a main character. He's going to be like supporting cast. So it won't feel weird that he's not just killing people all the time. Sure, if they did a Punisher show and made it PG-13 or Punisher movie and made it PG-13, that would be weird and not good. But if Punisher shows up in a PG-13 movie, it's not the end of the world. It's going to be okay. I promise.
No, you're spot on with that. Again, it's not going to be like, again, Punisher and Spider-Man. It's going to be Spider-Man, probably putting the Punisher in check. I'm sure there'll be a few situations where he's like, do not kill anybody, please. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So I'm very excited to see how they interact with each other. And this is again, great news that they have confirmed this, but it was, our belief all along pretty much. Before we move on, we want to thank you all for joining us. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. And let us know in the comments, what kind of the Punisher are you looking forward to in the new Spider-Man movie? Moving on, Joshua.
Yeah, so XMen will be a very youth-oriented, focused cast film, which I think is a good idea. It sounds like they're going to be using definitely some different characters, probably a more recent X-Men team. Wolverine's probably not going to be in there. He probably won't be joining for a few years, but I'm really excited about this. And really, this goes into the bigger overall plan that Kevin and Marvel are doing for the next several years, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes now. But I'm happy with this. Let's get some younger blood in here. Let's get some different members that haven't had enough love and attention that they deserve over in the Fox era of X-Men, and see where they take it.
Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is great. Just, remember how the X-Men started. They started as the teen characters that are going to this school that were, kind of being trained for this team. It was, it was kids. So I think starting a younger cast is great. We kind of saw that in a way in the movies. We saw, kind of flashbacks, and as well as, the prequel, essentially the soft reboot, whatever you want to call it. I'm a huge X-Men fan. There are so many X-Men. I bet if you took everyone that's watching this show and everyone that's on the show right now, we couldn't name every X-Men character. There's so many of them, I can think of dozens on my own, and that's certainly not nearly all of them. So there's a large pool of characters that can be pulled from. Obviously, we know that some staples will show up, and I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, I've been saying it for a while, I want there to be a Kitty Pryde main character. That's really what I want, more than anything else. Even, my favorite Nightcrawler, hope he does, show up on this team, but at the same time, Kitty Pryde, I want more than I even want Nightcrawler.
Well, you're going to get Nightcrawler in Secret War or Doomsday or whatever it is. But who knows? They will definitely build work their way towards Nightcrawler. With this being a younger movement of X-Men, it totally makes sense, because the focus is probably going to be on this new team done the Marvel way, and I think that will be a priority over Avengers. Maybe Fantastic Four will be incorporated somehow. We'll talk about that next, because I'm very confused as to how this is all going to work. But again, you got to do it. Yeah, you do it younger, you're going to have these. I mean, you could have this crew for at least 2 decades. So that's pretty exciting. And that's something we as fans want to see, this world building and the consistency within. Joshua, this kind of connects this next story in a way. Talk to us.
Yeah. So it's confirmed that Secret Wars will provide a reset for the entire MCU. Kevin also said when he was saying this that Steve Rogers, Tony Stark will be recast after Secret Wars. It is going to be, I think, more than just a soft reboot. It sounds like more of a harder reboot in terms. And, this will finally have X-Men, Avengers, we'll have Fantastic Four, we'll have pretty much all the main players lined up into the MCU. It's interesting for him to say that, because, like some of the characters, like what's going to happen to Sam Wilson's Captain America? Will he stay playing as Cap, or will they, I don't know, get rid of him, or how are they going to play that out? And Tony Stark, it's hard for me to imagine recasting, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr.'s role, as well as honestly Chris Evans as Captain America. I think both of them own it, and in time will go down in history as like 2 of the best adaptions of those characters. portrayals, so we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, we're gonna be getting an all new, reset on the universe eventually, and we'll talk about that in a minute with the next story.
Joseph.
Yeah, I think there needs to be some sort of a reset, whether it's a hard or a soft. They definitely need to cut the multiverse thing. I think the multiverse thing is very cool in concept. I don't think that it is good for the casual fan. It just creates too much confusion. It creates too much, too many instances of you need to have seen this and also this and this in order to understand that. Which not good for a franchise that's trying to get everyone to go see all the movies. So yes, I'm all for this. I don't know if a hard reboot is what we need, but some sort of movement in one direction.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what, because what is the hard reboot? Hard reboot means it's just bang, everything is different now. And that's hard to do especially with a blockbuster like Fantastic Four that just came out. You're going to say like in 3 years that is done. I don't think so. I think they're going to, again, as you said, a hard-ish reboot. I don't know, but obviously they're going to move on from the past, the early, the 2008 kind of crew, 2008 to 2015, and build off of what is now. But that's really challenging. Again, but if anybody could do it, it's Feige and team. So we have full faith in Feige. We're very excited to see how that works.
Well,
I have high hopes. I've enjoyed, again, we'll get into it recently, what has come out from that team. But yeah, let us know in the chat what you all think in terms of moving on from just a complete hard boot, resetting everything, or integrating some of these newer elements that are being released in the next 2 years. So Joshua, what do we have next?
I was going to say before we jump on that, Froggy said it's just like what Joe said too about doing so much homework. He thinks that's why the last couple of films have essentially kind of bombed, because you have to see so many shows, so many movies. I think they said before Endgame they put out like 60 hours of content, and post Endgame, since Endgame has come out, they put out over 150 hours of content. And they understand, hey, look, we're cutting back on the schedule. We're cutting back on movies and shows because we understand not everybody can see everything and may not want to see everything. So, but moving into this next story, Kevin has also confirmed that they have plans for the next 7 years of the MCU. Now, this is going to be interesting because his contract expires in 2032, I believe.
Oh, wow.
The rumors going around already that when his contract's up, Kevin may want to end up stopping. I mean, he's been doing movies and producing for over 20 plus years, I believe. He's been doing it since the original XMen film that came out in 2000, if I'm not mistaken.
2000 or 2001, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been doing it forever. There's been rumors that he might actually take over as CEO of Disney. Just, rumors going around, but still we'll see. And he may continue to extend his contract out, but they do have the next several years mapped out. Just like how they always have had that vision. They're looking forward into the future and what they're going to do. And it'll be interesting seeing what happens with this reboot. But we have a lot of great storylines that I feel like never got played out or fleshed out enough. Maybe we could see that happen again in the future. Maybe they'll do some things. Stuff will carry over from this timeline into the newer timeline. But yeah, so if anybody has any chance of pulling off a reboot and a good franchise and continue on, it's Kevin and the team.
Absolutely. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah. 7 years. I mean, we've got some time here for things to play out. Personally, I want to see Fantastic Four succeed and continue. I want to see an X-Men team. Yeah. There's a chance that Kevin Feige breaks his contract early. There's a chance that he rides it out till 2032, and there's a chance that he extends it beyond that. We don't know what's going to happen until they tell us what's going to happen, and even when they tell us what's going to happen, we don't know until it actually happens because things change all the time. I'm just hoping that we can get a nice, clean reset over the next 2 years. I think Fantastic Four was a really nice, fresh start with a new team, a popular franchise that people know, and a franchise that has not had a movie that has been good, really good ever. I don't mind the first movie from the early 2000s. It's a decent, family friendly. It feels like Spy Kids. It really does. No, seriously, that movie feels to me like how Spy Kids is. It's just a fun, family friendly, good versus evil movie. That being said, the new one, we'll talk about it shortly, I think blows it out of the water and is a really good start. I think that the ball got rolling with Thunderbolts here, and it's just continuing to pick up steam.
Yeah, for sure. And we do have a hot take from Maverick 77, the Defender. Where is it? This is a hot take to me. But you're entitled to your opinion, saying Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer is a better movie. I'm thinking that this person is saying that it's better than the Fantastic Four movie. I mean, that's fair to have that opinion. If you can, again, that's what you feel. That's what you feel. No big deal. But in terms of the future of the MCU, yeah, Feige has been king. But you know what we tend to forget here, guys? This has never, ever, ever been done before in terms of building out a gigantic world with all of these characters. Yeah, I know Star Wars, but Star Wars, that wasn't the original idea. With Marvel, this was the original idea. And we're at a point now, again, we were at a point when it first started. We were at a point where we first saw the first Avengers, and now we're at a point again where it's like, okay, it's getting a little convoluted. So we're at this new point. How are they going to kind of pivot? Or maybe not pivot. They saw this point coming of it actors getting too old. The continuity may be going astray with when you bring in the multiverse. Now it's like, how much of a reboot is this going to be? Are you going to keep what's familiar for the fans that you've had since 2008, and obviously the comic book fans decades earlier, or are you going to again do something completely new? And the thing with Phase 5, that's when they were doing a lot of playing around in terms of trying new things. And Feige even admitted that recently in this article. A lot of it didn't work. So maybe they take their learnings there, and we're starting to see what those learnings are with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, which we'll get to.
Thunderbolts was the last film of Phase 5, and Ironheart was the last show. And Fantastic Four is the first movie of Phase 6, which, we'll talk about in a couple minutes, but they killed it. So
yeah, again, agreed on all counts. I liked Ironheart. I liked Thunderbolts. We'll talk about Fantastic Four in a hot minute, but we have some other things to talk about first. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we're going to jump into some DCU news. James Gunn on the same day dropped a ton of info. I don't know why these guys didn't wait until San Diego Comic-Con. It was just a week later. But a Jimmy Olsen series is apparently in development at DC Studios, and it will be a crime anthology series focused on different DC villains hosted by Jimmy Olsen. And I have heard that the first villain supposedly will be Gorilla Grodd, if I pronounce his name right. So it'll be interesting to see that. Let me tell you something. If this is a way for them to build out the DCU, I'm all up for it. Jimmy had a great comic series, and actually Darkseid appeared in his comic series, his first couple of appearances, and that's how we came in to know him, the big bad of the DCU, well, DC Comics. And I'm excited for this. I think they can do some great things. You can have some good cameos from Lois, Clark, obviously, and some of the other team members. So, and listen, if you want to focus on some Batman villains as well, do it. You know what I'm saying? Like Harley. You know what I'm saying? Maybe have Jimmy, razz up, as I guess this generation would call, razz up Harley a little bit. And,
Riz, Josh.
Riz, whatever. Riz. It's all the same. You know what I'm saying? But I'm excited for this, and I hope it goes into development.
Jeff needs to do that again. One more time, Jeff. We need to see that. Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Doesn't he do that?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, anyway, this is... I really like Jimmy in the movie. Does he need his own show? No. Will it be good? Maybe. Think about Peacemaker. Peacemaker show was phenomenal. That was a character that no one really cared about.
That's a great point. That's
James Gunn does incredible things with characters that no one cares about. Think about Guardians of the Galaxy. Think about Suicide Squad. Think about Peacemaker. you know, Mr. Terrific in the Superman movie. He does really, really incredible things. Gorilla Grodd, interesting choice. Maybe Gorilla Grodd will end up being that Earth's version of Harambe, and it will, you know, just throw Metropolis into chaos after Gorilla Grodd is shot at the zoo because Jimmy Olsen falls into the gorilla pen. I need to write James Gunn right now because I have a great idea for this.
Full of ideas.
This show.
Full of ideas. I think this is great. I know that I feel like I know the tone of what James Gunn is going to do. He said it's an anthology series, so it's going to be one contained episode for one contained story with each episode. And I love that idea almost. And they said he's the host of the show. So it could be like call back to like an Unsolved Mysteries. I'm not talking about it being Unsolved Mysteries, but a show like that or Dateline or something like that. Can you imagine how much fun that would be? Especially with this Jimmy Olsen. He was awesome in the film. And if there is an ounce of that idea or the angle they're going to go, I'm on board for this. Because again, they're going to be introducing other characters in the DCU each episode, which is giving more light to these other characters. Again, what Joe said, he does a great job of fleshing these kind of lesser known characters out. So I'm all board. I'm on board with this for 100%. So we'll just move on to the next episode the next news story if somebody has unless somebody has anything else they want to say.
I'm good.
Great. Don't have to act so mean about it though. Okay, let's try and be nice to each other.
I love you both.
Thank you. This is a friendly canon tonight. We haven't had any. We only had one kickoff so far, but since then we have not been button heads.
Nope. Now we've had 2 kickoffs. But we need this guy back because he's moving on to the next thing. And Josh, take it away.
Yeah. So Supergirl Teen Titan writer Anna Nogueira. She is the writer for Wonder Woman for DC Studios. It was
Nogueira.
So first of all, Supergirl, I'm hearing nothing but amazing things. She adapted that movie. She was also supposedly currently writing or in the mix writing Teen Titans, but now she is confirmed as the writer for Wonder Woman. Seems like they're going to try to fast track Wonder Woman. I would imagine that she just started on the script, so maybe by the end of the year, if it's completed, start filming sometime next year, so we'll get Wonder Woman in the next year too. I'm very excited. I'm hearing that she will end up being a big player at DC Studios. Apparently, she is a phenomenal writer, and Gunn and the company are loving her work. So I'm excited to see this. And we need more Wonder Woman. Need to get that bad aftertaste of Wonder Woman 84 out of my mouth. Like that movie was the shit, man. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah, but he did say that Wonder Woman is fast tracked. So, I would question when you said that we would see, maybe Wonder Woman in production by next year. But now, with 5 months left in the year or so, to have somebody, drop a script and have James Gunn be happy with it, they could get production rolling early 2026 for sure. And you need a Wonder Woman. You got to have a Wonder Woman in a DC universe. So that's going to be, again, fantastic. And I'm excited to see Supergirl, especially the angle they're going to be taking with her, with the Woman of Tomorrow. You guys should be reading that if you haven't already, because she's a hot mess. Joe.
Chris, Supergirl looks terrible. Are you basing that off of just the appearance or because we haven't seen, there's been no trailer. There's no trailer. There's no synopsis. We just know that it's based on Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I mean,
sounds like a woke comment to me.
I'm just wondering why he's saying that. And,
listen, her appearance is literally based off of Woman of Tomorrow. Probably one of her best storylines at Tom King, one of Tom King's best storylines. So, but that's wild to think that you're basing off of a 30-second cameo.
Yeah, that again.
I'm stoked for that movie.
Check out World of Tomorrow. She's
Woman
a hot mess in that, and it's quite. She does go to planets with red sun, so she can get drunk. That's that
is comic accurate.
So again, Supreme Love. The cameo made you cringe. That's fair. Again, that's your opinion for sure. I enjoyed every second of it. I'm very excited, especially the interaction between the two of them, Superman and Supergirl. But we shall see. But Wonder Woman, again, very excited for this. Superman, a lot was riding on it. I think we're forgetting this. This is just recent, within weeks ago, that if Superman didn't do well, DCU would be, there'd be a lot of questions swirling around. But with Superman doing very well, it's opened a lot of doors, and we're going to see some exciting announcements like this, I think, more often than not. So take it away, Josh, please.
Yeah, so we have a good friend of the show and the channel who's been killing it in interviews. But today, a big announcement dropped at San Diego Comic-Con, and him and his brother will be writing a mini series, I believe it is, where Spawn and Santa team up together, supposedly.
Yeah, so
this looks kind of interesting. So I'm not a Spawn guy, but I might actually end up checking this out.
Yeah, so Chris Killian, alumnus of the canon, we love him. And we'll probably get him on soon within the next few weeks to talk more about this. But the announcement was a holiday special. He gets to go around and cavort with all of these, A-listers and things like that, including Tom McFarlane, which, by the way, he was the first one to ever introduce Tom Hardy to Tom McFarlane. With 3 movies. On the 3rd movie, the press junket, Chris was able to make that happen. So he never met Tom McFarlane, one of the co-creators of Venom. But with that said, yes, Chris pitched this idea to Tom McFarlane. Tom McFarlane was all in, and they're moving ahead, and it's going to be released before the end of the year during the holidays. So kudos to him, man. Like, in all seriousness, like, we give him a lot of shit. We love him, but very talented guy. He's also a stand-up comedian and musician, and now he's going to be a comic book writer. I think there are going to be other projects he's going to be brought into as well. So I'm very excited for him. Joseph.
Yeah, this is cool. I mean, anytime someone that that is involved with comics or comic collecting gets to, write, we've had a couple people on before that have been launching something or getting an opportunity. We had Dr. Guion Tom, who is a writer for I don't know if I can say, but he's a writer.
He did Valiant. He's done Heavy Metal. He's done quite
he's done a
lot
bunch
of
of
others.
things.
I'm not sure what he has.
No, I wasn't talking about those. I've been talking about his regular job. But we've had him on. We had my buddy Drew, who worked with DC on writing the storyline for one of the Justice League games. Just so cool. Seeing members of the community, people that personally, or we've had on the canon, do actual work in the comic book industry. That's awesome, especially a character as popular as Spawn.
Yeah. So, Tom McFarlane's seen it, been there, and Chris brought in a fresh idea, and Todd jumped on it. So kudos to you, Chris. I don't like giving you compliments, but this one is well deserved. All right, moving on, Joshua.
Yeah, so moving on to some Superman, which we just talked about. It has crossed $5 billion. Oh, sorry, which $5 billion? It's crossed $5 million at the box office. I think it's currently at $502 million, if I'm not mistaken. In Warner Brothers' eyes, this was a success. They wanted to hit over 500 million. They were going to consider that a success. They did it. And honestly, the drop, even with Fantastic Four hitting this week, it only had like a 52% drop. And it's like second or third week, which is actually really good. You're like, 52%, that's half. Like a lot of movies on the second and third week drop 70-80%. So Superman is still going strong. I kind of have to think it was like how last weekend Joe said, hey, maybe it's going to be a double header where people are going to see Superman and Fantastic Four. I've seen a lot of people post about this weekend that they saw both films with their families. So I think that's what happened. Superman's still killing out the box office. And there's actually a comment from Derek below. I don't know if we want to kind of talk about that we're doing this, or we want to do it for the Ask Joe.
No,
segment.
that's the other segment. By the way, that's just a reminder.
We'll do that then. But the Superman is, between critics and fan appreciation, a lot of people have loved it and enjoyed it. And hey, it's successful. We're getting the DCU. And you know what? I think Supergirl has been confirmed that it's going to be a bit of a different film. It's going to be more edgier and harder in terms because it's going to be a different tone. And I think it's going to, great kickoff to the DCU and full steam ahead. And, can't wait to see the Justice League reunite. Maybe I'll join the DCU at some point. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah.
Let us know in the comments what character you think Josh will play in the DCU, because it's inevitable. It's going to happen. James Gunn is going to be calling Josh
Bruce Wayne.
But please put in the chat who you think Josh will play. Also put in the chat your Ask Joe and Cannon Crew questions. We will get to those in the next segment. I am, again, very happy. I didn't realize that their goal was 500 million. That's like low to me in terms of a goal. I thought they would have gone higher with that, but I'm very happy to see that they reached their goal. And this movie is profitable. You see a lot of passion behind it, and it was just so well received in every which way. I will be seeing it a second time in the theaters before it leaves, but very excited. Joseph.
Yeah, this is good news. I mean, this eclipsing $500 million is a good news for the comic book industry, comic book movies, James Gunn, the start to all this. I think it's definitely going to inch closer to $1 million or $1 billion. It's not going to hit it though, which is kind of a bummer. We've seen a lot of, not a lot, but a handful of $1 billion movies with Spider-Man No Way Home, Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, The Joker. I think the Joker's the only one from DC. I think even one of the Deadpool Wolverine. Did that hit $1 billion? I don't exactly
Deadpool and Wolverine hit $1 billion.
Yeah. So I mean, this was one that I definitely thought could do it. The fact that it's not going to doesn't have me like concerned, but a little disappointed it's not, because I really thought it was going to be there.
Well, I think the whole thing you guys don't understand too is there's been so much damage to the DC brand overall for the last 12 years. And honestly, this film has outgrossed the last 6 or 7 DCU films by over like $50 to $100 million, which is great. I wished every hero film could hit $1 billion, but we just got to be really honest about it. I think it's a good start. And like I said, Warner Brothers and DC are looking at it from the standpoint that they're trying to regain faith, from the fans. They want people to enjoy it, and, everybody has. So it's the rebuilding, faith back into the brand and making people want to come back and enjoy DC movies. So I think it's a success all the way around, but we'll see what happens at the end of the box office.
Going to be interesting indeed. Speaking of the box office, we have another report coming from you. What do you got?
Yeah, so before we get into our review, Fantastic Four First Steps has earned $218 million worldwide in the box office. Domestically here in the U.S., it has a $118 million opening weekend. Superman was 125, but Superman also had an extra day and a half of early screening previews. So, and everybody's talking about the whole, is Superman or Fantastic Four going to beat each other? I don't look at it like that. I look at it like this. They're both succeeding. They're both successful. Everybody's loving and enjoying them. It's a great time for comic book movies. But the budget was $200 million, I believe. It was reported for Fantastic Four. So technically, they're kind of over, $18 million. But I think by the end of next weekend, they estimate that this could be almost close to $300 to $350 million globally. So we'll have to see what happens with that.
Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Superman was going to win out in this, but it's definitely possible for a Fantastic Four to end up on top as far as as far as the end box office results. We'll get to it in a second, but I'll just say that I personally liked Fantastic Four more than I liked Superman, and I'd love to see this number get closer. And it's probably not going to hit $1 billion. This was another movie that I said I think it definitely can, but it doesn't seem like that is going to be the case here.
It's got a nice start. I think this is a bigger start than Superman, correct, Josh?
Yeah.
So it's got a nice start. Again, it's going to be, I don't think it's going to reach $1 billion either, but does it need to reach $1 billion to be successful? Probably not. Let's just say $200 million budget. Let's just say like on the high end, $200 million in marketing, because they've done a lot of creative stuff. It's going to make money, and it's going to continue moving the MCU in a positive way, moving it forward. Yeah. So again, I think it's a win still for Marvel, but if it doesn't hit $1 billion, it's not a loss. So
what's interesting too is internationally, it's doing better than Superman did its opening weekend.
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that, and it's interesting that a lot of people put that in there because you did get the woke comments, you did get the I think Superman out of politics. There were instances that you could read into, like James Gunn's doing this on purpose because of this going on here. And he's admitted that it wasn't the case. And I believe him because this is being shot over 1.5 years ago. So
my question was going to be to Joe. Do you think Fantastic Four is more known internationally than Superman is?
No.
Because some have said that could be the possibility too. I do think some of Gunn's comments, but
not domestically, not internationally. Superman is a household name, way more than the Fantastic Four, and which is why I'm surprised that Superman probably isn't going to beat Fantastic Four here.
Yeah, but anyways, there's again, I think it had a lot going on with it in the world, right? And again, what Superman was showing hope in humanity. And there are a lot of people out there that think that other people do not deserve any sort of hope or do not see them in the same classification as a human. So there's that going against Superman, and that may be a hot woke take. But the people calling Superman film woke was just ridiculous because, first of all, he's always been involved in politics. He was created by 2 Jewish men. He's got a very diverse background. He's an immigrant. That was one of the issues right there. But he said, I'm more human than you even realize. So it says a lot about what's going on in the world because that's what Superman does. It speaks to things that are going on in the world. So anyways, I'm not going to do this rant anymore. Do we want to move on to the next segment of the news?
Yeah. Speaking of woke, let's talk about Fantastic Four, shall we?
Oh, God. Yes, Josh. Let's bring Dan in as well. Hello, Judge.
Hey, everyone.
You have some words, I'm sure, for this movie. Joshua, this is your segment. You run it.
Yeah, so let's start off. Fantastic Four, in my opinion, was fantastic. In my opinion, it might be in my top. Well, it's definitely in the top 10 movies of the MCU for me. Maybe even the top 6. Honestly, this movie, I'm telling you, like I really enjoyed it. I hate to say this, but I may actually have enjoyed it a little bit more than Superman. And I'm the biggest DC fanboy out there. It is insane.
Hot take.
But this movie to me was just like it was so good. Let's just start off, start off with the cast. A lot of people thought, Pedro was miscast. He wasn't going to do well as Reed. He does well in everything he does. So I wasn't too concerned. I thought he nailed it. I thought he was a great Reed Richards. My standout for this movie, honestly, was Vanessa Kirby. I thought she killed it as Sue. She was my favorite out of the film, and really just, she has some very good moments in here. And towards the end, she is a force to be reckoned with. Ben, the most comic accurate thing. Loved him. I love his portrayal. I wish we would have gotten a little bit more with him, though. I felt like he wasn't used as much as he should have been. And then Johnny honestly surprised me because he's not just this like dumb flame on, let me go out and hit up the chicks character. He actually has a bit of a subplot in here where he actually, in a way, kind of outsmarts Reed with a certain area. And I really enjoyed that. Johnny is smart. He actually can apply himself. I felt like Silver Surfer, we have the female version, which I thought worked great. I know people, they recast it to be a female just because we need to have wokeness. No, she's been in the comics. She's had her arc. It's a different take on it. I enjoyed it. I thought she was great. And Galactus, man, That was great seeing him on the screen. He wasn't a big cloud of dust,
Thank
just
God.
on the horizon. But overall, I thought the cast knocked it out of the park, did a great job. Visual effects were great. The storyline, I felt, was really good. We got to see an introduction of a new member of the Fantastic Four family. Franklin Richards is involved.
That's
It
not
was
a
great to see
spoiler.
him.
It's in the trailer.
In the trailer.
So, but overall, like, I think this was a bit more edited better than Superman, because Superman kind of just kept going and going and taking off. But the emotional moments in here, honestly, were like you could digest them in and take them in and breathe with it and enjoy it. So I really enjoyed this film. I would probably give it the same rating, 8 out of 8.0 white pages, same thing I did Superman. But I still feel like I said, I think Fantastic Four, in my opinion, is just a little bit better of a film. And I'm looking forward to where Marvel goes forward. It's been confirmed that a sequel was already in the works for Fantastic Four,
Great.
which we'll see probably in a few years. So yeah, I loved it though. Go out and watch this.
We're gonna get to Dan last because he has more ties to this film than the rest of us. But Joe, I think you should go next.
Cool. I loved this movie. Just like Josh said, top 10 MCU movie. I'm with him on that. Honestly, also kind of peaking near top 5. It's definitely close. I have to really adjust, sit down and really think about it, but certainly top 10. I liked it better than Superman. I personally gave it a 9.0. This movie has a lot of heart. It has like the perfect amount of comedy, because as we know, superhero movies are, at least recently, it seemed like they've been absolutely riddled with ridiculous comedy stuff that's totally unnecessary. Think Thor, Love and Thunder. And that's not my favorite thing. It doesn't need to be, all, gloom and brooding and stuff like that, like the Batman, which is, a different take on it. This was I thought this just did the whole superhero action, drama, comedy, sprinkled in there just so well. I also was questioning the casting. I don't know anything about Vanessa Kirby or even Moss Bachrach. But Pedro Pascal, I was like, meh. And Joseph Quinn, I've always been behind that. I think he's not only a phenomenal actor, but I thought he would be really good in this role specifically, and he absolutely was. So I'm very happy about that. But Pedro impressed me. He really impressed me with his take on the character. It felt very comic book accurate. From how he played the character. I thought that was great. Vanessa Kirby did something really, really cool that I love as a comic book collector and reader, is that she often posed in ways that were specifically like Sue Storm poses in the comics. Like, I don't want to give away parts of the story, but you could take a screenshot of certain parts of the movie and compare it to a specific comic book cover, and that is the exact position that Sue Storm was in. She did her research. It is great that she's in the role, and obviously she looks the part as well. And last, I'm going to go to Ibn Moss Bachrach, who everyone's complaining. Everyone's only complaint that I hear about this character is that his voice wasn't gravelly enough. If that is your biggest complaint, that's phenomenal. That is phenomenal. That the graveliness of one character's voice is your biggest complaint. I thought he killed it as Ben. Ben is a very emotionally complex character, and he showed that through and through throughout the movie. He's got that, bond with Reed and, in turn with Sue. He's got this little kind of like almost like a sibling rivalry thing going with Johnny, his best friend's brother-in-law. Casting was great. Go see this movie if you haven't yet. 9 out of 10. So stoked.
Ooh, 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Yeah, this was a 9 out of 10.
No, Wow. I love this film as well. I don't know, with Superman and Fantastic Four, I felt like the first acts in both of those were like the not the best part of the film. The setups were, I don't know what it was. I have to think more about it. That's my only criticism here, because I loved this movie. Everything feels fresh, right? It feels like something new from Marvel. And I don't think we got cookie cutter movies from Marvel per se, but it was getting a little bit to that point. With this Fantastic Four, everything feels fresh. The art direction is absolutely incredible. You know the aesthetic that they're going for. It's the early 60s on this alternate Earth. And Fantastic Four are already established, I guess, like Superman in a way too. And, but man, like everything you guys both said, the casting was outstanding. Vanessa Kirby is absolutely the heart of this film. She's the glue almost. But like again, Johnny Storm, amazing. The way they brought his character, gave him more than he normally has in the comics, I would say. Even Ben Grimm, he was Ben Grimm. He totally was Ben Grimm. And it's, to his core, to his roots, he's from Yancey Street. No spoiler here, but they make a mention of Yancey Street in there, and it's just it was great seeing that. But I have to say, and again, Pedro Pascal 100% was Reed Richards, absolutely was Reed Richards, and that's what I loved about his performance. Very calculated, not in a cold way, but there was some coldness there, and that's who the character is. But I have to say, what was the most enjoyable part of the film was everything to do with Galactus. Everything to do with Galactus. When you first see Galactus to when you last see Galactus, and everything in between that is Galactus, it is Galactus. And I know a lot of people have some criticisms about the portrayal of Galactus in terms of how he gets around or this or how big he is, blah, blah, blah. He's Galactus. He is menacing. He is a godlike creature that everybody in the universe should be afraid of. And I loved every second of it. Shala Bell, aka the Silver Surfer, again, had the heart of what the Silver Surfer was, that character. And that version of that character is in the comics. So people should not be complaining about that. You don't sit there being like, man, this shouldn't be. It's not as bad as a freaking gas cloud in space. Let's put it that way. It's like this was the Silver Surfer. So I loved every minute of it. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10 for sure. But I'm not going to play the game of did I like it better than Superman, because I thought both of those movies were great equally, and they're completely different from one another. So I will just leave it at that. But I'm really excited to hear what Dan has to say, because again, he had an early impression with Kirby growing up. I'm assuming, Dan, I wasn't there with you when you were a child, but let's talk, Dan. What are your thoughts on Fantastic Four?
Keep in mind that I consider myself a comic time traveler. I was alive and well in the 60s. I remember the 60s very well from a child's perspective. It was Wake Alert, the styles were different, everything was different. And they paid great homage to that, because that's when this, of course, was created back in 1961. And there was also an homage to Jack Kirby. I think they wanted to sort of, if they had to nail this movie, and they did, a lot was riding on this particular movie to start Phase 6 and also make up for the mistakes of the past two Fantastic Four movies. They nailed it at all counts. Again, just like with the Superman movie, any criticism I have is minor, not even worth mentioning. But this struck me as the flavor of the 60s. I love the way that they put the whole thing together. Keep in mind, this is another universe, not our 616 universe. Pedro Pascal was stellar because, as I've said a number of times, the mistake from the first two FF movies was they didn't put a mature Reed Richards type character in there. And they did with this. So I was also on the fence about Pascal, but he won me over. There was also a little flair that only I would probably pick up that nobody else did. There was a little element of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry Star Trek from the 60s here. They also wanted to pay a little homage to that. So it had all sorts of things all the way around. I'm with all of you. I love both these movies. I'm not going to say one was better than the other. What I see from both James Gunn and the MCU had to nail both of their movies, and they both did. So what's going on right now is what's happening is something that's never happened before. Both the MCU and the DCU are now wide open thanks to the creativeness of both people who both teams who put these two movies together. So that's amazing. That really opens everything up, and so we have a great future for a number of years. There's of course going to be a sequel with the Fantastic Four 2 and all the rest of it. Keep in mind, I can, how do I say this without spoiling anything? They dealt with Galactus very differently than they did during the comic books. There was one element, a major element that was missing. I won't say what it was, but they pulled it off. I love this story. And Jeff, to your point, to the first opening scenes for both movies, there was a similarity. They didn't rush things, but they made it so that you kind of already knew what the background story was for the Fantastic Four. You knew what the background story was for Superman. They just sort of glossed it over and kind of, I wouldn't say rushed it, but they did kind of throw it together. It helped if you had a background, and like all of us get into the weeds with all the comic book minutia, right? The average person is not going to know all the weeds and all the ins and outs of both teams. So the bottom line is they were both successful. They're both making money. And this is an absolute fantastic, pun intended, launch for both series. Fantastic Four leads into the rest of phase 6, so the door is wide open. Feige knows this. He's going to continue on with this. The door is wide open for the DC universe, which is long overdue. Again, if James Gunn can win over an old cynic like myself, and he has, sky's the limit. There's all kinds of possibilities that we have to look forward to. So maybe I'll throw a question in for you, Joe, about the future of all that. But again, both movies won me over. It's an incredible time. Congratulations to both teams.
Absolutely. 100% on board with all of that. What we are missing, though, is our 5th team member, Naomi, who is in the chat. Obviously, she said that she's loved everything about it. But you have to give a, what would you rate it 1 through 10? So let us know in the comments, Naomi, and everybody. Shout out to Naomi. Let's wish her better health. I guess she's not on her deathbed, but she doesn't feel great right now. So we will have her comic book pick of the week, new comic book pick of the week coming up shortly. But before that, we have to continue on with 2 more pieces of news. Joshua.
Well, they're not just news; they're actually rumors. And so going back earlier about Wonder Woman being announced, and our writer Anna, she was writing Teen Titans. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with this. I've heard that she potentially turned in the first draft a week ago when she got announced as Wonder Woman, and then somebody might come in and touch up the project a little bit if it needs to be, or it could be on hold or possibly canceled. I don't think it's going to be canceled. I think it'll be at most put on hold, and maybe she'll go back to it. We'll have to see. But hopefully, Teen Titans does get out the door. I don't think we need a Teen Titans movie or show, within the first few years of the DCU. I think really what we need to do is we need to set the, big players, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Supergirl, first, get that stuff out. Lanterns is coming in hot as well next year. So we'll see what happens with this and if it goes anywhere. But, I'm sure Teen Titans, we might get some sprinkles of the characters throughout, but we don't need a Teen Titans movie or show within the first year or 2 of the DCU starting, in my opinion. But I'd love to see it one day.
You're absolutely right about that. Look at how the MCU built. Again, they started with Iron Man, then they had the Hulk, then, it's very slow build, which they're kind of taking the approach with, but you have the shows, you have Creature Commandos, then you had Superman, now you're gonna have Peacemaker, and then Lanterns. So that's interesting, because I think in this modern day, you're just like wanting the next thing so quickly because of what we've had. They've fed us a lot of quantity. The quality hasn't been as great as it has been in the past, but they're probably taking us a little bit of a step back, but still delivering quite a bit of content. Before I get thoughts from Joe, just want to report here, Naomi, 9 out of 10 for Fantastic Four. So Naomi, I do believe, rates this movie higher than all of us do.
I said 9 out of 10 too.
Oh, that's right. You did. So she's copying you is what she's doing. How dare she? Like, she can't come with a 9.4 or something like that. Goodness gracious. Anyways, Joe or Dan, thoughts on Teen Titans?
Yeah. Dan,
go ahead. No, Joe, go ahead, please.
No, age before beauty, man. Go ahead.
Thank you. So finally, some respect on the show. Anyway, I'm kidding. Okay, this kind of leads into the question I had for you, Joe. That's since the DCU is now open, people have been very quietly specking on DC titles, including the first Teen Titans, which I have, and that's DC Presents 26. I think this is a good buy. I think this is a good direction. And you mentioned this, Josh, in your report earlier, that Gunn seems to be focused in on a youthful audience, because again, youthful people are reading comics and all that, so they understand the storyline. And this will affect me as well, because again, this started in, when did the DC 26 come out? Was that the 80s?
Either 79 or 80, because
Yeah.
New Teen Titans #1 was 1980.
Okay, that's right. So again, this is going to be accommodating and enjoyable for everyone, myself included. So this is, again, another great branch off and another great direction for the DCU.
If they do it, but it looks like
I think they will. At some point.
Joe, any thoughts?
Yeah, and I think Naomi hit it on the head right here. She said, that she thinks Teen Titans would be a great way to bring in the younger audience. Just remember that there was, in the 2000s, a really phenomenal Teen Titans show that a lot of 90s kids and, early 2000s kids watched growing up, and that was their first foray. Just like, me and Josh grew up watching the animated series, Batman the animated series and XMen the animated series. Just how Jeff grew up watching, Transformers, and how Dan grew up watching cave paintings.
Hey, don't knock the cave paintings. That was entertainment from back in the day. Okay.
Oh my God.
Listen, I'm not judging, Dan. It's okay.
Well done.
Not only did that happen, but then Teen Titans Go came out about 10 years later in the 2010s, and was also a phenomenal hit. So I do think that this is a way to get a lot of people, really a lot of the Gen Z and even the Gen Alpha kids into these movies based on the characters that they have, watched in their Saturday morning cartoons growing up. And Teen Titans is certainly a way to segue them into that. I think that Teen Titans should be a focus. In fact, I think Teen Titans are not only the best DC team, but the most beneficial to put in. Let's be real. Not a ton of people care about the Justice League. A lot more people care about Teen Titans.
I don't know about that.
In the mainstream world, that is the case.
And by the way, in my defense, the Stone Tablet comics were heavy as shit. They just were. Come on, and they were the first slabs. Yeah, that's my.
No.
Well done. All right, moving on. That hot takes all around here, but moving on, Josh, for our final little nugget of rumor here. But before we get to that, I just want to make mention that somebody actually did say that you would make a great Batmite.
Well, it's interesting. James Gunn says Batmite is one of his favorite characters, and he would love to see it adapted. And I didn't add this into the news, but Peacemaker Season 2 trailer dropped last night, and it is looking fantastic. No pun intended. And we'll talk more about that next week, I think, because there's a lot to go over from that trailer. However, there could be a possibility that Batmite might appear in the DCU up and coming, and that he might get his own show. Personally, I say do an animated show set in the DCU, have Batmite and any other of the Mite characters throughout comics show up. I think it would be if they want to go the adult route, I think it would be cool. Or if they want to do a kid-friendly show and then have, superheroes show up and do cameos, I think it would be a great way to pull in kids and whatever their audience may be. But honestly, man, I would love to see a Batmite and like Brave and the Bold with Batman and Damian Wayne. I think that'd be cool if they could somehow pull it off. I don't think it would be realistic, but then again, the DCU is set in a universe that's, we got creatures, we got, dragons, we got people that can do weird things in different dimensions. So I think they could pull it off, but we'll see what James ends up doing with this character if he does anything.
Gods and monsters. I really have I want them bringing in a younger audience, and I think there are ways to do it. Like Batmite would be fun for sure. Teen Titans, I completely agree with that sentiment. But other than that, this for me, it isn't a priority. I want to see other things. Joseph, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those, a little bit more obscure, weird characters that James Gunn could very well, throw at us and do it in a great way. I'd love to see if we're getting Batman. I want Mxyzptlk as well.
Yeah.
I think that they're obviously just very similar characters. I think Batmite is actually based off of, kind of being Batman's version of the character. So yeah, I would, if picking between the two, I'd rather have Mxyzptlk
For sure.
But if we're gonna get Batmite, we might as well get both of them, and potentially a team up, maybe a sitcom spinoff, if you will.
That was tried actually back, or DCU had that on the slate. Never really.
Yeah.
Or DCEU had that on slate. Never really came into fruition. Surprise, surprise. Dan, do you have any thoughts on Batmite other than the comment you put in here, which you may as well just say it again?
Well, Josh, you would do a good Batmite because I said in the chat here, you're a cute, good-looking character, but a big pain in everybody's ass, which is just what Batmite reminds me of. So, wasn't he an imp from another universe or something? What's the origin of Batmite? Remind me, please.
I believe that's the case. I believe similar to Mxyzptlk, he's a interdimensional imp.
Okay, that's right. Just like Josh.
Interdimensional imps. My goodness. All right, we are going to move on here because, again, lots of travel going on in the week. So we're going to actually end the news as we always do, like this.
Josh delivers the news and rumors.
All right, all. We are going to be skipping Ask Joe because, again, we got to get this show rolling. It has gone, man, that is over an hour of news and rumors. And you did a great job. We're not going to knock that. There are other things we make fun of you about, which are valid. But this right here, you did a great job for sure. Speaking of great jobs, we're going to just dive into, if you guys are missing Naomi, we may as well just jump into the new pick of the week. New comic book day pick of the week, which is this Wednesday the 30th. So check out Naomi's pick right here.
Hey everybody, it's that time of week again where I tell you what comic I'm really looking forward to next week. Justice League Dark Tomorrow, issue number 1, which goes straight into October's. Trying to make this look really cool.
This is All-In Christmas.
Written by the legend Mark Waid and Mark Guggenheim, and art done by Kian Torney. And I have to mention that Romulo Fajardo Jr. is doing the coloring, and he's been doing amazing with all of these new comics. In Dark Tomorrow, we are thrown into time travel chaos where nobody is safe, including the Quantum Quorum, and they need help. So they call on the talents of Batman Beyond, Helena Wayne's Huntress, and Gold Beetle to fill in the void that the Time Masters have left, and to protect the fabric of time itself. And by the looks of the covers, we're going to be seeing Booster Gold, Darkseid's Legion featuring Cosmic Boy, Lightning Lad, and Saturn Girl. Time is breaking, timelines are bleeding, and this is just the beginning in this one shot where it's a major cornerstone of the all-in-one verse. So that is my choice for next week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys read last week, let me know what you thought. Until next Sunday, bye. Did you guys see my shirt? It's actually from 1983. It's got Ewoks. Oh my God. Arrah! Chucha. That was the best I could do. Bye.
Yo, her Ewoks is we gotta get her to do that some more actually.
I'm pretty sure that if she made videos of herself just doing that, you should probably bring in some cash. The nerd community is definitely willing to pay up for that.
Well, I mean, talking Ewoks kind of gets us closer to one of your passions as well.
Oh my God! Why is this picture? Why does this picture still exist?
I mean, because you were at FurryCon 2025, and it's not a big deal that you were there. The fact that you're denying it is what makes us want to know the answers more. So tell us, why are you? Let's start off. Why are you denying it, Joe? We want the truth, right, Joshua?
I'm going to say the exact same thing that Jeffrey Epstein said during his deposition trial, is that I would love to answer that question right now, but this time I'm going to invoke my...
I mean,
I got breaking news. Susan from our control room in Chicago. Yeah. Okay, so I'll let them know. Next week, guys, apparently there will be a big announcement coming from 360 Comics, which is in the works. We'll have to... No shit, real.
all right, this is taking way too long, so we're just going to jump into ruling from the bench from Dan De La Torre himself. This is another great one right here. Yo, he nailed last week's ruling from the bench, by the way. It's Fantastic Four related, and he absolutely nailed it. So let's check out this one.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Ruling from the Bench. I'm Dan De La Torre. Today we profile not one but two comics, Iron Man 149 and 150. Written by David Michelin and drawn by Bob Layton and John Romita Jr., these books were produced in 1981. The surprising thing about this is the first meeting between Iron Man and Dr. Doom. Both characters who were introduced in the early 60s finally face off against each other almost 20 years later. In this story, Tony Stark finds out that weapons and technology is sent to Latveria by mistake, and he attempts to return those items, and in so doing squares off against Dr. Doom. After a battle of technologies, they both wind up back in time to the era of Camelot. Both comic covers are gorgeous and black in background. That means they're extremely difficult to find in high grade. A CGC 9.8 for the 149 issue can go for around $300, and issue 150 for around $1,000. However, mid and low grade copies can be found for a much reasonable price. These are great stories and should be almost required reading if you're a comic collector. Everyone, thanks for joining. For the Comic Book Canon Show, I'm Dan De La Torre, and this is Ruling from the Bench. Case dismissed.
Dan, you look so badass when you freaking slam that gavel down, like for real.
Why does Dan have a cool weapon? Do I have a cool weapon?
No, you use your fists. No, you do actually. You shoot something. We're gonna get in. We're gonna revise all this stuff.
I thought he had a suit he wears to the Furry Con.
No, we're talking about his avatar, the guy that. Anyways,
Holy...
Dan,
hold on, stop. Highlight this guy right now.
Who?
What guy?
Me.
Oh,
right. Yeah, it's time.
I apologize to our sponsors, Slabdex, who have graciously given the opportunity to represent their product on our channel. We have fallen through the cracks here. Unfortunately, we were supposed to mention this every 15 minutes on the show, and we're an hour and 15 minutes into the show, and I have not mentioned Slabdex yet. As a punishment and reparation to the Slabdex company, I will now drink this entire bottle of Slabdex on live stream, which will certainly result in my immediate death.
Not the whole bottle, Joe. Not the whole bottle.
The whole bottle.
Oh goodness gracious! Oh my God.
wow. Okay.
Joe, do you need a moment?
No, but I did just get Windex all up in my beard. That did not work out the way that I thought it was going to work out.
Oh, you mean Slabdex? Anyway,
Slabdex.
it was for the show, and it's all about entertainment at this point.
Oh, that kind of burns. I'm actually taking me off right now. I'm going to go wash my face. I'll be right back.
I'm hearing, as an aside, there is now a
He really did that.
There's a Slabdex AA meeting somewhere, and Caleb Leland may have to join it. He's also been a little
Anyway,
much
oh
of
my
the
God,
blood.
the show is completely off the rails, so we're going to have to get back on track. Did you know always brings us back. Dan, I want to know your thoughts here on this. The reason that they, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee created Galactus was because they were bored with the villains that they created. Check it out.
Did you know Galactus was created because Stan and Jack were bored with villains? Before Galactus was the devourer of worlds, he was the answer to a creative challenge. By 1966, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby had done it all. Monsters, gangsters, supervillains, alien invaders. And they were tired of it. That's when Jack Kirby pitched an idea that broke the mold. A being beyond good and evil. A cosmic force that didn't hate humanity. He just needed to eat. Galactus wasn't evil. He was a necessity. A godlike presence in a superhero comic. Stan called it their first attempt at writing mythology. Galactus wasn't just a threat. He was a symbol of something larger than us. Cold, immense, unstoppable. Jack once said, Galactus was a step beyond anything we'd done. He was the next plateau. And comic books would never be the same. So, did Galactus break the typical villain mold? Let us know in the comments. And if you didn't know, now you do.
Oh, wow. Dan, I'm legitimately concerned about Joe, but let's get your thoughts on the creative reasoning of why Galactus came to be.
Well, I think the description says it all, that Jack Kirby and Stan Lee continued to break the molds. Galactus, when he was introduced, was a brand new concept. And it was all mostly Jack Kirby's creation, because he went on to New Gods and the Eternals and all the rest of it. But when that came on, in the comics, he was the biggest badass for the longest time. And he was the most feared. And then it kind of expanded with the power of Odin, because some of Stan Lee stories profiled how powerful Odin was, and Zeus and all the rest of it. And then when we just lost him, he did the Secret Wars. His name is escaping me. Jim Shooter. When he did the Secret Wars, he went a step further. He created the Beyonder, who was far more powerful than Galactus, and that blew my mind. So, but backing up to Kirby and Stan Lee and the Fantastic Four with Galactus, I mean, it was just, this is why we love these people, because of their creative genius and all the directions and all the thought that they inspired with these characters.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's really nice going through the creative process, or just seeing just a glimpse of why they did what they did. It really brings kind of another element to the character. And I enjoy seeing these things. Again, we'll be posting our Did You Know, as we do every week. Tomorrow, on every Monday, we post our Did You Knows. All right, let's bring the man back in. Joe, how are you?
Are you okay?
I'm not feeling great, but I'm here. I'm still alive.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll just continue the show, and I'll probably hit the ER after.
There's a Slabdex AA meeting after the show, Joe. You might want to,
Yeah, maybe a good idea. But let's just get into this first real quick.
Fresh from the comic shop, your collection's treasures ready to pop. It's time to share, don't let it flop. Fresh from the comic shop, take a shot, make it bright, give it style and flair. Show a book that's unique, something rare out there. Tell us why it matters, what's the story behind. Pull at our heartstrings and you'll surely shine.
Sponsored by Crafty Comics, where collections flex their style. Museum quality slabs and displays with 99% UV protection, because your fresh gets deserve the spotlight.
Fresh from the comic shop. That's right. We ask you, fine viewers, you audience members, send your fresh gets each and every week. You never disappoint. You send them to the Instagram. You hashtag FFTCS. Most importantly, you tag us on the picture, not in the description, on the picture. We will not see it if it's in the description. On the picture. We look for 3 criteria on these I'm fried too. We look for 3 pieces of criteria that you kind of Joe, can you finish this for me? I can't put it out.
We're looking for 3 things that make your submission to Fresh from the Comic Shop stand out more than anything else. Number 1, we want to see a well-composed shot. Use lighting, use depth, use angle, use scenery. Put something together that makes us say, wow. Number 2, we want to see something unique. Now, unique doesn't need to be, Josh, how much?
$30 billion.
$30 billion. It doesn't need to be expensive. Unique can be something that has been forgotten, an underrated comic, something from the golden age or even the platinum age of comics, or even from Dan's time when they wrote things on rocks. It could be a piece of original artwork, something that makes that comic unique. Now, the third thing, we want you to pull at our heartstrings. We want you to tell us the story of that comic book, what it means to you. Maybe it relates to something that's happened in your life. Maybe it was the first comic that you got or you were given it to a friend, or at some point you lost that comic and had to rebuy it, or maybe it was a comic book you once blew your nose into during a live stream YouTube show, and that makes that book important to you. Whatever it is, tell us, pull at our heartstrings, and win us over.
Absolutely. Those are the three pieces of criteria we do look for. And in these previous submissions of winners of each month, which they will be getting their prize soon, and hopefully we'll be able to announce what that is next week. I just want to go over this real quick and say January was Mons Comics, the Predator submission. February was Dr. Plagueis with the beautiful Green Lantern submission. We have Super Doc Crispy Comics with the Comic-Con submission right there for March. April is The Boys from good friend of the show, Nori Jordan, but not good friends with Josh. The May winner was Mike Hags with this beautiful Spider-Man submission. And our June winner was Spuds, a.k.a. Lexi. Now, we did have a semifinals. Two people went toe-to-toe last week. And this is what we got. We have, let me read it here so I get it right. Where is it? Oh, Dan and Tessa, but he has a new handle, Dan Photography, was Spawn over Raising Elms, Lilo and Stitch. You are moving to the finals, Dan. Congratulations on that. All right, now, two things I want to say. That StreamYard is an absolute shit show now, and they do everything whacked, and I have to figure out where all of these visual assets are to match with all of the rundown of the show. But before I do that, we haven't mentioned anything about the Big Beef. I don't have a new Big Beef image, but this Big Beef looks great.
The Big Beef.
I love how he's come up with his own slogan too. He loves this. All right, let's get into this, because we first have Brixco Comics. What?
Wow.
Barely submits, but it's going to be a freaking banger if I could find it. Brixco. There it is. No, that's not it. Where? Oh, there it is. God, StreamYard, get your shit together. Here we go. This story.
Nice.
Yeah, well, this story is even better, actually. Before I ever knew this comic existed, I knew it existed. Being born in the 80s and becoming a teen in the 90s, I found punk rock at the age of 13 when I first heard Ranson's Time Bomb on the radio. That set me down the road of punk rock that I still love to this day. Who's interrupting me?
Oh, I was just saying, Time Bomb.
Well done. I wish I heard that clearly, because that was well done. Where am I? During my journey, I found, of course, the Misfits, and one of my all-time favorite covers was the Die, my darling singles cover. Never knowing it was swiped from a comic like so many of Danzig's cover art and symbols. Fast forward to college, and I made a crude attempt at recreating my beloved Misfits album cover, still unaware of the comic. Fast forward to pre-COVID, when I got back into collecting and started picking up some comics again. I was surprised to learn that my favorite album cover was actually a comic book. This immediately became my grail book, like so many other punk fans who collected comics, and I was unsure I'd ever be able to obtain a copy due to the extremely large price tag of it. So when I saw in Greg's home sale preview, I was excited because I saw it as a 0.5, and the main image area presented fairly well for a 0.5. I hopped on right at the start of the claim sale and immediately asked about it, and we struck a deal. I'm so glad I did, because throughout the show, so many people asked about it and would have sold many times over. Thank you again, Greg, for helping me obtain the #1 book on my PC list. Right there, it's well done. Great shot and a great story. And I mean, it's so old, it's kind of unique at this point, right?
That is definitely something. That's my top horror book that I want for my personal collection. My second favorite comic book cover of all time after X-Men 251, and definitely my favorite horror cover.
Well, you know where he lives, and you know where a copy resides.
I do.
It's a 0.5, man. Like, shoot for the 9.8.
I don't think it exists.
Joseph, let's see your fresh gets of the week.
All right, so I got some cool ones. I think this is a really underrated book. I actually got this in a dollar bin, which is why it doesn't even have a bag and board on it yet. Marvel Team Up number 65. This book is a double key. It has the first American comic appearance of Captain Britain. Originally, he was in a British Marvel magazine where he premiered and had his initial run. So this is his first time in an American comic book. I believe this would have been late 70s, 1977.
Yeah.
It also features, this is a 2-issue storyline, issue 65 and then 66. And it features also a cameo appearance of one of my favorite underrated comic book villains of all time. Probably as far as take out the top tier guys, this character is my favorite comic book villain. His name is Arcade. There was actually a Super Nintendo video game based upon his interaction with the X-Men as well as SpiderMan called Arcade's Revenge. And this issue features his first cameo appearance. He's alluded to in this issue and shows up at the end. And then the following issue is his first full appearance where you get to see not only the character, but his setup called Murder World, which definitely a really cool interpretation of what a villain has, what possibilities a villain has to do to a bunch of heroes. I feel like me liking that character as a kid is one of the reasons that I am a huge fan of the Saw movie franchise, because it is very similar to that.
I did not know Arcade was in that comic. Thank you for educating me on that one.
Yeah. So yeah,
I don't have that issue, damn it. So now I'm going to be looking for it.
And a dollar bin. That's
Then the dollar bin. Geez, what a steal!
A great get for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on to our next submission.
I thought I was going to do all three.
Yeah, go for it then. Do all three.
Why don't we do all three? I've been liking that better. We've been doing that recently.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This next one is actually from a Supreme Love, aka Tree McGee, aka Trees, Tunes, and Tokes, or whatever your new Instagram name is, aka Chris. This was in a bundle of comics that I recently purchased from him. He was looking to upgrade some of his collection into one or two bigger books, and this is one of them. This caught my attention because not only is it Department of Truth, which I consider to be a really great modern comic run, but it has an homage cover to House of Secrets 92, one of the most famous comic book covers by my favorite artist, Bernie Wrightson. And that's a book that features the first appearance of Swamp Thing, but this is recreated to be more Department of Truthy. We love it.
That's a great
and then
cover. Absolutely.
For sure. My third and final book of the day is this one right here. Of course, Pre-Code Horror. This is one, I'm going to admit, this is not actually a fresh get, but it is a book that I recently found. I had it. It was just put away in a box at one point, and I finally reunited it with my personal collection here. This is The Crypt of Terror number 19. Which is an EC horror comic and features an awesome cover by Johnny Craig. I get their covers mixed up all the time. But Johnny Craig cover. And for those of you who don't know, Crypt of Terror eventually changed its name. Actually, directly after this issue, this was the final Crypt of Terror issue. The next issue, it was renamed something you all probably know, a household name, Tales from the Crypt. Which is probably the most widely known horror comic title there is because of the movie from the 70s as well as the television show from the 90s and the rebooted version from the 2010s or whatever it was. I love that horror stuff, and I'm always trying to fill out my EC runs.
You never disappoint. Go ahead, Dan.
I met Jack Davis. I think it's the same artist years ago. He's, as you would expect, he's off. He's just kind of different. Yeah.
That's actually not. I mean, that cover's amazing, by the way, but kind of expected, I guess. All right, moving on. We have who do we have? We have we all love Nori Jordan except for Josh. Where is the damn thing? There's Nori Jordan right here. Hello everyone. This week I picked up a book I've been wanting for a long time. No character lights up a book like Bullseye, so adding the Daredevil number 12 1/100 Virgin cover was a must-have. I have many favorite Bullseye covers, and this one by Gabriel Dell'Otto could be my favorite, except for Daredevil 131 and 181. It is pretty hard to find the price. It is pretty hard to find, and the price will not be disclosed to my wife. Gosh, this sounds pretty good, actually. You could totally set them up. Less than 2 weeks until Terrific Con, and I can't wait to meet the members of Comic Book Canon community. Even Josh's comics. Take care, everyone. Wow. Okay, he's playing. Maybe he's setting you up, Josh. He's being nice, only to kick you right in the groin. Everybody, like and subscribe if you have not done so already.
Assuming I have a
live show of
groin.
all time. Joshua, go ahead, please.
I said, assuming I have a groin to kick.
Josh, do you have any comics to show off?
Look, man, I got
It's
three.
too much
I got
information,
three.
man. Sorry, that's personal.
Seriously.
Listen,
That's not me. Highlight this guy.
all right. Starting off, we're gonna go with a great Art Graham cover. I'm excited for her movie next year, and this is Supergirl issue number 19. He did 3 of these. Issue 18 is like her first appearance look, kind of from the Silver Age. Then he does 19, which is her animated version, and then he does issue number 20, which is also her first, well, not her first, but her modern day look. But still, I love this cover from Art Graham. It's fantastic.
Very cool cover, for sure.
Another fantastic cover. I love myself some Adam Hughes. So this is Wonder Woman issue number 750. Gotta love some Adam
That's a
Hughes.
great cover,
And then this last one, I believe there's over 50 different variants of this, but this is Detective Comics issue number 1027. Pretty sure I got this from 360. And this is a variant of Batman with all of his rogue female villains. You got everybody here, and I'm pretty sure it's a wraparound cover as well. So yeah, pretty happy with some fresh cuts.
Who's the artist on that one?
I believe Mike.
Or is it Mark Sears?
No, I think it's Mike Mayhew.
Mike Mayhew.
Okay.
Also, just 1 second here. I'm going to pause because Ryan messaged me on Instagram. Oh, this is Ryan. Ryan from New Jersey. What's up, man? How you doing? I do have an FF48 for you. It's a pretty nice grade, and it's a little pricey. It's a 7.0. So send me a message. I'm looking to sell it if you want it. Shameless plug is over.
That's how great this community is, though, right there. We make things happen, Ryan. We make things happen. Moving on. Who do we have next? We have good friend of the show, Raising Elm. I just made that up myself, guys. Howdy, comic fan. No spoilers here. Last week, I was listening to the official Marvel podcast, which talked about the upcoming film and this particular comic of Fantastic Four, First Steps, issue number 1. During the podcast, Marvel Comics Vice President and Executive Editor Tom Brevoort stated that this issue was special because it exists in our world and the world of the Fantastic Four in the movie. That's right. This is the same. This is the exact same issue that would be sold in a comic book store on Yancey Street on Earth 828. After I heard that, I immediately ordered covers A, B, and C. The ads in this issue are a nice touch, but I will not spoil it for you, nor will I spoil the 37th MCU film either. I will say this, the wife, Randy Irene, and I thought it was, how shall I put this? Simply fantastic. Go see Fantastic Four. Much love, comic fam. I was definitely interested in this book, but I have had no time to go to a comic book shop. So I wonder, this is something that Naomi has picked up or has her eyes out for as well. Dan, do you have any new books you want to show off?
I do. I got 3. Rapid fire segment here. Since I got the Daredevil 1, I'm now restocking on Daredevil, and I got issue number 104. Steve Gerber cover, story rather. It's not my favorite writer, but he did a fine job on this one. It does profile how much of a badass Kraven the Hunter is. He's a damn good fighter. Next, again, DC, since now DC is now open. I'm just randomly grabbing DC titles. Here's Green Lantern number 44.
Look at that cover.
I like I love this red cover. Hal Jordan is my favorite Green Lantern. And this one here, a bit of a spec issue, but I've never had it. And it's the first appearance of Nomad.
There you go. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's a good one. Shout out to Comic Ozzy where I got this one from here. And that's what I got for this week.
That's some great pickups. I, again, did not have time to go to the comic book shop. I was flying all over, taking meetings with Canon, being wined and dined, though, Josh. You have yet to get a T&E, a travel and expenses allocation. Right, Joe? Is that how it's going for Josh? He's not allowed to travel on for comic book canon, correct?
No, he's been grounded.
So again, the corporate card is a no-go for him too, right?
I didn't even know we
yeah.
had a corporate card.
No.
You don't.
I haven't even gotten paid, man. I've been on the show for over a year. And
All right, moving
Thank
on.
you.
We have Kate's Comics. We love you, Kate. Where are you though? There you are. Thank you, StreamYard, for being horrible. Kate's Comics, Superman Radio Shack giveaway #1 from 1980. Here is an interesting comic I picked up from Cheddar Comics. Be sure to give him a follow. In this issue, the computers that saved Metropolis. Superman inhales some kryptonite thanks to an evil plot by Major Disaster that leaves his brain a little foggy. Luckily, Superman had dropped off a TRS-80 computer in a classroom earlier that day. With the help of 2 school children and a trusty TRS-80, they are able to relay calculations to Superman to stop natural disasters caused by major disaster. This is a fun, gimmicky issue from the 80s that was a blast to read, especially reflecting on the computer's description throughout the issue. I'll be on the lookout for the other 2 Radio Shack giveaways that feature Supergirl and Wonder Woman. Very cool, very unique for sure. Kate, that is awesome. Off the top of my head, one of my favorite gimmicky issues is Ghost Rider. Was it 14, the glow in the dark one? Ooh,
Yeah,
boy, I love that one.
The old handy computer from Radio Shack. That brings me back.
Did you know that it could actually save the world? TRS-80.
They promoted it as it could, but no, it didn't have the processing.
We have more power in our phones these days than probably a TRS-80.
Yeah.
Very cool though, Kate. Very cool indeed. All right, moving on. Who do we have next? We have real Caleb Leland. I'm the worst. I am the absolute worst. I don't have the description, but I do have this. Here's an interesting comic I picked up. We'll just read it from here. Nope, that's Kate's Comics, not Cable. Well, Caleb right there. Joe, can you pull it up? Josh, you look very embarrassed right now. You're just holding your brow like this because I messed up.
Blame StreamYard.
All right, here we go. Greetings, comic fam. Last night, I finally watched what I think will be my pick for movie of the year, James Gunn's Superman. No spoilers, but I absolutely loved it. One might be thinking I would be showing off a comic of the Man of Steel, but I'm actually presenting a copy of Red Lanterns issue 21 for Fresh from the Comic Shop. While this isn't the first time Guy Gardner wore a Red Lantern ring, this one he actually stole from Atrocitus. I've never been a fan of Guy's, but Nathan Fillion was pitch perfect as the character in the film, and this cover was too good not to share. Will Gunn ever explore this side of Guy in the DCU? It would definitely be cool. I hope you all have a great week, and as always, much love.
Very cool submission. Again, like the whole spectrum of lanterns is something that hopefully will be explored. Obviously, they're going to concentrate on Green Lantern because the spectrum of lanterns didn't really come about until early 2000s.
Jeff, can you bring up that Caleb's picture again for just a second? Look at the profile. He's a handsome and very almost regal in this picture here. I love this picture of him.
Of Caleb or Guy Gardner?
Of Caleb.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. I do too. I thought you were gushing about Guy Gardner with a Red Lantern ring. I love it too. I love Caleb is probably the one who does this the most, where he puts his face on his submissions. We love to see more of you people showing your personality and having fun with it as well. All right. Hold on. I don't know if this is a your mom joke, but going to Radio Shack because your mom. Oh no, because your mom. Okay, got it. Needed a new corded house phone and begging for a RC car was a rite of passage in the early 2000s. Yes, I thought for some reason
I miss Radio Shack.
Yeah, it was cool.
I don't remember getting much at Radio Shack, to be honest with you.
No, I would go in there and turn the dials on all the like stereo systems and stuff for no reason. They weren't even hooked up, but I'd just be like, I was like
KB Toys, Toy Store, or
for
Toys R Us.
electronic, whatever, and they also have knowledgeable people to help you out. That's what I missed about Radio Shack.
Well, it's gone under just as Toys R Us and KB Toy Stores and all that. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We are here to get a little nostalgic from time to time, but we're also here to end the show. And by ending the show, Joe and I have to pick a semifinalist who will go up against last week's semifinalist, who I, off the top of my head, can't remember who that is, but I probably should know. So what do we got here, Joe? Yeah.
There's some good ones.
I also forgot the neighborhood Merc.
Well, hurry up.
What the hell? Oh, there it is. Oh, man, I can't express how happy this one makes me. Huge shout out and thanks to Art of Breed for making this for me. I asked him to make something celebrating the Philadelphia. How can I forget this? The Philadelphia Eagles winning the Super Bowl and include my favorite character, Deadpool. And this is what he came up with. Words can't express what this means to me. Truly, thank you, Bobby. I mean, look at how happy he is, about as happy as we were when we won that second Super Bowl.
Go Birds.
Go Birds indeed. And I had no idea Deadpool was an Eagles fan, but we'll take you, buddy. We will absolutely take you. And God, can you imagine Deadpool being an Eagles fan and being at a tailgate with Cowboys fans?
I mean, Deadpool is the most Eagles fan character you could possibly imagine. He would definitely throw batteries at Santa.
Yeah, for
Hey,
sure.
that's a pretty unique book too.
It is. It is a unique book, 100%. So I literally have two that stand out for me. Joe, how about you?
Yeah, me too. I mean, man, the one obviously I'm a little biased here because it's one of my favorite books.
I know.
Chamber of Chills number 19 from our good friend Paul at Brixco Comics. This is great presentation. We've got the background of the cover, the album cover that was swiped for. We've even got a song going up there as well. And yeah, phenomenal story. Someone getting their absolute grail. That is a top option for sure.
I find it interesting though that he pairs Tom Waits with this. Am I missing something here?
Well, Paul waited very long for this book, so maybe that's why.
There we go.
No, I don't know any connection between the song and the specific book, but I might be wrong about that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said just now as well. And again, the one that I almost forgot really stuck out for me too.
Yeah,
the neighborhood Merc. Again, this is unique. Josh pointed that out. He's showing us another passion of his, which is the best team on the planet Earth, the Philadelphia Eagles. They also happen to be Super Bowl champs, defending champs. His enthusiasm for this. So I really do like this submission right here. I love the submission, not only because it's the original piece of art, but it's also really good. And well done there. With that said, though, Joe.
Yeah.
There's one that
it's hard between these two, not only because they're both great posts, but man, it's two things that I love. One of my favorite horror covers, and I have a Misfits tattoo right here.
There you
go. Another image that they swiped and used without permission. And then Philadelphia Eagles, my number one sports team. It's so hard here. I'm leaning towards one though.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards 1, too, because it went a little bit deeper.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, Judge, how do you want us to present this to you? We always come up with this deciding, what do you want us to whisper in your ear? Should we say it at the same time? What do you want?
I'm going to say it at the same time, but if it's different, I may regret this, but I'm going to have Josh be the tiebreaker if it's different from the two of you. So hopefully you guys are in sync.
Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1, then we say, Joe, okay?
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, Brixco Comics 1.
Brixco Comics. You did that out of order.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you messed up. It's okay.
But it's okay. We figured it out, right?
We did.
Okay, I'll pay attention better next time. Judge, we present to you Brixco Comics. We're moving on to the second semifinals of July.
I see everything is in order. Briscoe Comics, you are the winner. Congratulations. Case dismissed.
Dismissed. Get it out of here, as the judge says. And we are going to dismiss episode 233. That's right. This is the end of the episode. It's been a long week for all of us here at the Canon. Long week. Josh dealing with Comic-Con, following up on DCU with Superman and obviously the opening of the Fantastic Four. That's why it was a huge episode 4 news. Joe, again, just flying around all over the place in the tropics. Cayman Islands, right? You have some sort of a bank account there for us, so making sure that's intact. And there we go. Getting the names out there. 360, the Canon, et cetera, et cetera. Judge, you had a ton of case on your dockets. And poor Naomi, bedridden with an IV of lemonade going through her veins. Do they do that? I don't know. But you all are here. You made it here with us. It was a kind of a messy show. Again, I'm coming back from international travel as well myself. But we're here, and we're going to end the show. But we love you all as a collective audience, as a community. Nothing better to do on a Sunday, even though my wife yells at me sometimes for doing some work for the show. Joe, I hope she's not listening.
Oh God, you're in trouble. I've had a crazy busy week. To be honest, I wasn't in Dubai. I wasn't jet setting around. I was at a work conference in Denver that I did extend into a little vacation, but I was busy the whole time. I had literally no free time. We were booked solid during the work trip and during everything else. I will say this, man, I went to Red Rocks where I'd never been to that venue before. If you're ever out in Colorado, go see a band at Red Rocks. Last year, there weren't any bands that I was into that were playing, so I didn't go. I got extremely fortunate this time that not only was a band that I love playing, it was actually 3 bands that I love.
Oh, wow.
That all have the same lead singer. They were like his band when I was in middle school, his band when I was in high school, and his band when I was in college and adulthood. All playing together for the first time. It was
holy cow.
I can't even explain how phenomenal this show was. And it was super nostalgic for me, and it was super emotional, and it was at Red Rocks outside on a beautiful night. It wasn't too hot. Go to that venue. Go to that venue. That's all I can say is go experience something there, because it was unlike anything that I've ever seen before.
Well, that's exciting to hear. Check that off the list. Joshua, any parting words for the episode?
Yeah, crazy week. Not as crazy as you two gentlemen, but lots of news to get caught up on. Lots of news that we're going to have to get to next week as well. But full swing ahead. And, coming up, Terrificon is a couple weeks out. I cannot wait. I know some of you guys are going to be showing up. I'll be going the whole weekend with Joe and a bunch of other friends in the community. Come say hi. Hopefully Jeff will stop in at Terrificon as well. We'll have to see. I would love to maybe get some canon content done. Maybe I can snuggle up with Jeff. Me and him can share the couch or the bed or something. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Remember, those are not pillows.
Well, I mean, listen, I have my own. Nah, I'm not even going to say that. I'm trying to trying to steer us in the right direction. I love it.
Dan, please take us home.
All right. I want to thank my colleagues here, Joe, Jeff, Josh, and Naomi. Feel better. This is a great show, and it's still growing. We're doing more things. I'll be on with Cliff's Comics this Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific, on Spine Ticks Saturday, 8 o'clock Pacific, and then back with you guys next week. And I'm going to try to do a cameo after the show ends. I'm going to say hello to Blackcron Comics, a good friend of mine. So I'm kind of all over the place. That's
you
how
are.
I roll.
Yeah. You are. Again, thank you so much for joining us each and every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. We truly appreciate you. That's why we put in the work to have a great show and have fun. Next week will be another big show, hopefully, if we can get the work done we need to do for it. But it'll be one of the most entertaining ones of all. Hopefully Naomi will be back, because she probably has an interview to do. And we'll see if we can get actually Chris Killian on next week. I'm not sure. He's flying back from San Diego Comic-Con right now as we speak. So I'll have a talk with him tomorrow. But amazing work, sir. We're all very proud of you on that book that you're doing with Tom McFarlane. Until next week, please, everybody, be good to yourselves. Be good to others. Peace.
before I got cut off,
big,
I'm gonna say
big,